Semi-spoiler warning to all of the matchups in Demon Slayer Infinity Castle. You've been warned. So just like we saw in the trailer, we've got Shinobu versus Doma, but also Inosuke will be fighting that battle. We then have Zenitsu versus Kaigaku. Gyu and Tanjiro versus Akaza, but we only saw Tanjiro in this aspect. Gyu will be joining later on. And last but not least, we have Mauricio, Guillaume, Sanemi, and his brother up against Kokushibo. That one specifically is a pretty good-ass fight. I won't spoil too much, just know that it's not fair for the majority of the Demon Slayers. But out of all of these, based off of what I've read, all of these are interesting in their own right. But one of the more interesting ones has to be Tanjiro versus Akaza. Same thing with Zenitsu versus Kaigaku. The whole backstory behind why each of these matchups happen, let alone with the demons, are just, it's peak. There's no other way to put it. Spoiler warning, again, 3, 2, 1. With Inosuke's parents being killed by Doma and Inosuke being raised by boars, that's why that all happened. Kaigaku having relations with Zenitsu and his grandfather. Tanjiro with Akaza, that one makes sense. We get that entire story during Mugen Train with Rengoku. And then Kokushibo versus the rest of the Demon Slayers. That's mainly just because they want to fight the strongest and Kokushibo happens to be the strongest. It's basically just an ego stroke type thing. Personally, and I wish this would have happened, but it wouldn't have been a fair fight, I would have loved to see Tanjiro versus Kokushibo. But I'm not mad with the fact that Tanjiro fights Muzan in the end, because that just makes sense. But there is history between Kokushibo, Yoriichi, and Tanjiro, and the generations leading up to where Tanjiro is now. And I think it's kind of a missed opportunity, but that's just me. But these are the official fights that will be happening in the Infinity Castle arc. And each one of them, chef's kiss.